Condyle.
So, but I've got two. I've got one on the medial side and one on the lateral side of my humerus. So which,
Oh yeah, medium side.
yeah, medium
medial
side.
of the condyle.
Medial condyle of the humerus. Cool. And where are all my extensors found?
Posterior of that.
Posterior, yeah. And what's the origin for all my extensors on my forearm?
So it is lateral condyle.
Perfect. That was perfect. Lateral condyle of the humerus. Beautiful.
Yeah, femurs. Yeah.
Sir, if I have a muscle that's going to these four fingers, what word's going to be in that muscle?
Digitorum.
Digitorum. What about going to my thumb?
Pollicis.
Yes. What about going to my little pinky?
That is digitorum minimum, right?
Yeah, digiti minimi.
Minimi. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Craven.
I love you.
It's gonna throw me off guard, huh? You're right. I love you too. Thank you, sir. That's enough. Miss, you're done. That's perfect. That's all you had to say. No. Mr. Craven. We're just playing pretend muscles here, okay? Most of these actually exist, but we'll find that there's some slight variations. But if I have a muscle on the back of my arm, going to these four fingers, what is the name of that muscle probably?
Some kind of posterior
Nope.
digitorum.
What does that digitorum do?
Extends.
Yeah.
Extensive digitorum. Yeah.
Yes. And probably longest just because it's up the forearm. But that was great.
Yeah.
That's exactly the answer I wanted. Thank you for setting a good example. Extensor digitorum longus. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, sir. That's it. I love you too.
I mean,
Miss Young.
Wrong button. Sorry.
That's okay. Miss Young, if I have a muscle on the anterior side of my forearm going to these four fingers, what's it probably called?
That one's flexor digitorum.
Yeah, flexor digitorum longus probably. By the way, we're going to find that there's one called like flexor digitorum profundus and things like that. But you got the right idea, that's for sure. Thank you, ma'am. That was correct.
Thank you.
That was correct. Miss Hendrickson.
Yes.
Miss Hendrickson, if I have a muscle on my anterior forearm that goes to my thumb, what's it probably called?
Flexor pollicis longus.
Yeah, probably longest. Most of the long muscles are up here. Most of the short muscles are in your hand. Great guess. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Richards.
Yes, sir.
If I have a muscle on my anterior forearm that goes to my little pinky, what would it be called?
Digitorum minimi.
Digiti minimi.
Would it be longer still?
Yeah, I'm more worried about what does this muscle do?
Oh, flexion.
Yeah, flexor digiti minimi. Yeah. So we're just using this example, by the way. I'm not saying all these muscles exist exactly like this, but they're so close you guys are going to find out that it works really well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. Miss Abelos.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take this theme, but we're changing it up. This makes it a little more difficult, okay?
Okay.
The webbing between my fingers here is muscle. When it contracts, it pulls my thumb in. It pulls my thumb back to the midline.
That's an adductor.
Yes! So what do you suppose this muscle is called?
Adductor, pollicis brevis, most likely.
Yes. By the way, it's just adductor pollicis because there is no longus. But everybody, that was 100% correct. And you didn't memorize that, right? You just figured that out.
No.
Yeah. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Because Miss Abelos is actually able to go, oh, well, I just know what that thing's called. She'll never have to memorize that. She'll know that for the rest of her life. She knows the webbing between her finger now is adductor pollicis. That's how nicely this works. So let's take that same theory. Miss Dimitrik. I feel like you're trying not to make eye contact with me.
I was.
Miss Dimitrik, I've got a muscle, believe it or not, on the outside of my thumb. When it contracts, it pulls my thumb out. That makes sense, right? It's on the outside, it pulls my thumb out. What do you suppose this muscle is called?
I would think this is the abductor pollicis brevis.
Yeah, that one is brevis because I think there's a longus. But I don't even care. I don't even care about longus brevis, and I promise you, the test at the end of the class does not throw a longus and a brevis in there to throw you off. It just wants to know that you understand this concept. And you got it. Bam. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Miss Carrillo. Okay.
Yeah, Mr.
There's actually a muscle in my thumb pad here that allows me to put my thumb across my hand. Do you know what that action is called?
Opposition.
Yes. What do you suppose this muscle might be called?
Probably in opposition pollicis.
Yeah, opinator pollicis.
Oppon-
Right? But if somebody told you that, you'd be like, oh, it's got to be that thing. Like,
Gotta be that.
yeah. I tell you this because you're never going to actually memorize 110 muscles, every last thing about them. But this actually makes you learn them forever. Like you'll never forget it. Really good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Godot, I want to give you one last chance to respond, sir. Are you there? Mr. Godot? No? Okay. All right. Let's continue with this concept really quickly. Mr. Overman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Overman, where would I find my flexor digitorum longus?
Flexor.
Now, by the way,
digitorum.
there's one on your feet. We're talking about all hands here, just so we know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the anterior medial portion of your arm.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that answer. Oh my gosh. Oh, because he's right, by the way. These muscles actually go diagonal here. So I'd actually find it, when I'm rubbing them, I actually rub up the arm and go to the medial side. Anterior medial is the most brilliant, perfect answer ever. Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
You're out of here. Yeah, really well done. Miss Stevens.
Yes.
I'll get you 1 second, Mr. Godot. Miss Stevens, where would I find the extensor digitorum longus on my forearm?
On the posterior side of the forearm going to the forefingers.
Yeah, I'll take that too. Posterior side of the forearm going to the forefingers. Yep, awesome. Well said, thank you. Mr. Godot, sir, welcome back.
Sorry, I was in the bathroom.
Okay, well, you were there for a while. Let's do some review. Mr. Godot, can you tell me where I find the flexors of the forearm?
On the medial side?
Kind of. That's their origins on the medial epicondyle. And really on the anterior side of the forearm.
Can you say that again?
The flexors of the forearm are found on the anterior side of the forearm. They do start from the medial epicondyle, but they're here.
Yeah.
Well, medial's here.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
the anterior side.
Where would I find the extensors?
I'm just gonna grab this and look at it. It's right here. The posterior side.
Cool. Where would I find the origin of basically all the extensors of the forearm?
The origin is Oh, the not the radius, the humerus, right?
That's true. I need to be more specific though, but you are absolutely right. It is the humerus. Where on the humerus?
The I think it's just called the head of the humerus, lateral condyle.
Yeah, lateral condyle of the humerus. Good job. We'll take that. If a muscle is going to these 4 fingers, what word is going to be in that muscle?
Phalanges.
Or maybe digitorum?
Digitorum.
Cool. If a muscle is going to my thumb, what word is going to be in that?
I don't know. It starts with a P. I don't know how to say it.
Pollicis.
Pollicis. There we go.
Cool. And if a muscle is going to my little finger, where is it going? Sorry, where's it going? Muscle is going to my little finger. What word is in it?
Digiti mini.
Yeah, it literally is as ridiculous as it sounds. Digiti
Okay.
mini-me. Like the little mini-me of the digit. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody. Let's take a break. It's a good time to take a break, right? It's almost 9:30. We'll be back at 9:41. Cool, cool, cool. 9:41. Put it in the text box, Mr. Singletary. It's your job. Thank you. Yes, Miss Oblos. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
Probably.
If you can.
Yeah.
Wondering if you can get me some recipes, like plant-based recipes. I don't have social media or anything like that,
Okay.
but I know that I've seen your food and I'm very interested in kind of
Oh, go on.
making that a mention too. So is there any way that you can get me some recipes? Because
Yes.
I would greatly
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes. I will give you the recipes
Everything's starting to taste.
that built this. Yes, ma'am. Anyway, I'd be happy
Thank
to.
you.
I've also got some sources that are good. So even though you don't follow social media, if I gave you a website too, would you go to that? Like a chef that had recipes? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll give you suggestions.
Absolutely.
I got you. All right.
I appreciate it because everything's starting to taste the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing like herbs or like, well, I'm using herbs, but I'm not using spices because of all the added
Yeah.
nonsense, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to kind of detox. So
Understood.
I would like to further my skills in cooking with plants if possible.
Oh, I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure you're a great cook. Anyway, I will find some. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's
Thank
super.
you so much.
That's easy. Thank you.
Hit it.
All right, everybody.
Miss Ablo could give you some recipes too. I have cookbooks and stuff.
Please do.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Dimitruck. She'll come flying into the thing here really quick. Let me tell her about her extern. Miss Dimitruck. She doesn't have her headphones on because they were walking back there. Miss Dimitruck. Going once. Twice. Miss Abelos. You raised your hand, madam.
Sorry, sir. One more question.
No,
Do you
don't be.
know where I can get bulk fresh mushrooms? Like lion's mane, reishi. I need. Well,
If-
I definitely need lion manes and
I know they say
reishi.
lion's mane. I have not found a place to the point where I actually order the mushroom blocks online and grow them in my house for lion's mane, which is
You
fun.
grow them.
Yeah, it's super easy. I mean, they're done.
Okay.
They're already like inoculated for you, and you cut them open and they grow. Like it's really easy.
Where do you order that online? Can you add it in the chat?
I actually don't remember off the top of my head because I've tried out several places, but I can find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
can
mean, you
search-
can get
you
the
can s-
basic ones at the store, but
They're
I'm
expensive
looking-
though, and you can't get very many of them. Yeah, and then for
Right.
regular mushrooms, I buy them at Costco, because I buy so
Costco?
many and they just have the bulk I need for the price I need. But those, they don't have
Okay.
lion's mane, you know.
They don't, and they
No.
don't have reishi. I can't find it anywhere.
You can grow reishi though.
I know you can. I
It's
just
fun.
haven't.
And it's actually not
I
bad.
know
You get a
how.
block. Yeah. Well, I meant like I don't even know how. I just get the blocks and they just grow. It's cool.
That's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. Mr. Godot, I'm assuming your hand's left over, but maybe not. Do you have a question, sir?
That was an accident, sorry.
Cool. No worries. Miss Dimitruk, I'm not going to ask you a question. She's like, no. I'm not.
I've got my hand raised.
Oh, Miss Dimitruk. I looked up my notes. The thing I'm waiting on your externship is they're changing managers at that location. And so, like, the head honcho over a lot of locations said, let me get back to you. We're changing managers. They already have the new manager hired, but they're like, I want to talk to them and make sure they can take somebody on at that location.
Okay.
Yeah. And I kind of manipulatively wrote back, well, if you don't need anybody, then, you know, don't do that, because I would suspect they would need somebody. But we'll see. We'll see what they say.
All right.
Mr. Bose, you have your... Yeah, Southwest Mushrooms is cool. I've used them, by the way. I just saw that. Mr. Bose, what was your question, ma'am? Or comment?
It's not a question, but this was just in regards to what Miss Avalos was saying earlier about the mushrooms. I went to a farmer's market, and there was a stand there where I'm gonna see if I can find the flyer that I put in the little in my little cart. But they had lion's mane. They had all of the mushrooms and the teas and everything there at the farmer's market. So I'm gonna see if I can find. I don't know if they sold it in bulk though, but I know that they sold the mushrooms for sure. So
If I could
I'll
find
get back.
bulk lion's mane, I'd go nuts. Yeah.
That'd be awesome, but I think I'm gonna plan on growing them because I'm
It's
gonna
fun.
be using it
all the
for
Yeah.
as a part of my
it's fun.
diet.
It's fun to grow 'em. And then they're fresh. Just break them off and cook them or don't cook them or whatever. Miss
They
Hendricks,
become your
they become your friends? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. They do. Miss Hendrickson, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you could check at Asian grocery stores. Typically have a wide mushroom selection as well. But yeah, if you're gonna grow them, you're gonna have it like every day. It's really cool. Oh, and if you go on Pinterest, there's this guy called Turnip Vegan, and he makes all of these like really cool vegan variations of things, like with mushrooms and stuff like that. Like
I'm a mushroom freak.
scrimps, which is like shrimps, but they're made with like lion's mane, stuff like that. So,
I've made stuff
it out.
like that with it. It's very fun.
yeah, and he grows it too, I think. So it shows you kind of how to do that on there.
Miss Hendrickson, since I have you on the line, and I've got to get us back to massage.
Yeah.
As much, by the way, I'm a mushroom freak. Yeah, don't be sorry. I'm a mushroom freak. But let's do some general review really quick, because all I have to do is talk about the wrist bones and then kind of release your guys' homework. So, really quickly, what are the 6 muscles found in the posterior leg?
Okay.
Or really slowly.
So that's the lower leg, right? So gastrocnemius, soleus, plantaris, tibialis posterior. Having a hard time thinking of the last couple. Would that be like the extensor muscles of the?
Well, if it's underneath, it's going to pull my toes underneath.
Which is a plantar flexion.
Well, that's when you pull my foot down. That's a plantar flexion. But just pulling my toes underneath is just called
A flexion?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So it won't be an extensor.
Flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus.
Well done. Thank you.
Is that all of them?
Yep, that is all of them. You did really good. Thank you. Very good. Very, very good. Miss Young, I know I already called on you, but Miss Young.
Yeah.
What are the 6 muscles found in the posterior leg?
Oh goodness, let's see if I can remember. Probably not.
The whole time, she's so funny.
Oh goodness.
What are you?
Okay. Oh. Okay. So I don't remember anymore. My goodness, I can't even remember the 3 that I'm supposed to know.
The 3 calf muscles?
Yeah, because that's the posterior leg. Is it Soleus, Plantaris, and Gastrocnemius?
Yes.
Okay, so I at least know those ones.
Good. We're off to a good
And the
start.
rest are and then the rest are the flexors, right?
2 are flexors.
Okay. Okay, so Fibularis longus and brevis,
Oh,
right?
those are on the lateral
No.
side of your leg,
Oh, okay.
and they're not really like well. Anyway,
I'm gonna say flexor digitorum longus. Is the other one just flexor digitorum brevis? Okay. No.
it's got to flex the big toe.
Okay, flexor hallucis longus.
Yep.
And
And then there's a tibialis muscle.
tibialis posterior.
There you go. So what are the 6 muscles in the posterior leg?
Okay, so gastrocnemius, soleus plantaris, flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus, and tibialis posterior. There
That's
we go.
beautiful. And you already kind of said this, but just because I'm going to ask somebody else this question too. By the way, I hope you got to notice by now. I asked the same question over and over and over and over again. But what are the 2 muscles found on the lateral side of the leg? You said them already, actually.
Fibularis or peroneus longus and brevis.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you. Miss Everson.
No.
Miss Everson, what are the 6 muscles found on the posterior leg?
Tibialis posterior, gastrocnemius, soleus plantaris, I'm missing two.
Stuff that curls my toes under.
Flexor, hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus.
Nice. What are the 2 muscles found on my lateral leg?
Peroneals.
Yeah, peroneus longus and brevis. I'll take it. Peroneals. We'll take it. Since you're doing so well, what are the 3 muscles found on my anterior leg?
Tibialis anterior. Wow. No.
Yeah, you do.
Um,
Gotta have something to lift the toes up.
extensor digitorum longus, hallucis. Wait, extensor hallucis longus.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Godot.
I'm here, but
Awesome.
can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, I'll give you one. I'll come back to you in 1 second. Mr.
Okay.
Ma. Mr. Ma.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ma, what are the 6 muscles found in the posterior leg?
Okay, so it's gastrocnemius, soleus plantaris, and another one. Posterior.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, sir.
It's on the back of the tibia.
Yeah, is that tibialis posterior?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus.
Yes, it's adorable because Miss Creo is cheering for you as you do this. Thank you, sir. We'll take that. That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Godot, back to you. What are the 6 muscles in the posterior leg compartment, sir?
The gastrocnemius, soleus plantaris, tibialis posterior,
Good.
flexor longus, and then flexor long. It's not. I can't. It's a Harry Potter. It sounds like a Harry Potter spell. I can't
does.
say it.
You can say it.
Can you say it and I'll say it?
No. It's a flexor muscle that goes to your toes. What would we call that?
Is it flexor digitorum or holistic?
Flexor digitorum longus is correct. That goes to your toes.
Okay.
Flexor, it flexes the digits. That's great. Tell me the one that goes to your big toe.
Okay. Is it helicus longus?
Pretty close, yeah. Flexor hallucis longus.
Hallucis. Okay, thank you.
Good. So what are the 6 muscles in the posterior leg?
So the plantaris, the soleus, gastrocnemius,
Cool.
tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum, and then flexor hallucis longus.
Okay, we'll take it. Thank you, sir. Miss Mares.
Yes, Michael.
Oh, you're there. Good.
I'm here. I'm actually at the salon, but I'm here. I'm kind of listening and kind of not. So.
Okay. Well, what are the? Let's see if you can answer this question. What are the 6 muscles in the posterior leg?
The posterior are the gastrocnemius, soleus, plantaris, and the underneath muscles of those 3 muscles would be the tibialis posterior.
Yes.
And it's the flexor digitorum longus.
Yes.
And the flexor hallucis longus.
Sounds like you're more than just a little bit listening. That was perfect. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Craven.
Hello.
Mr. Craven, let's see, since you love me so much, what are the 11 muscles of the leg?
Posteriorly, anteriorly, and laterally?
Yes, and it'd be nice if you delivered them that way. Like, in compartments. Yeah.
Okay. Posteriorly, you got the soleus, plantaris, gastrocnemius, the tibialis posterior, the flexor hallucis longus, the flexor digitorum longus.
Beautiful, thank you, sir.
You might also say you have the popliteus over there.
You could, because it's the back leg. Really well done. Thank you, sir.
Of course. That's 12. I also love you still. It'll be 12, excuse me.
On the 12th day of Christmas.
Anterior, you got the extensors.
Yeah.
So you have the extensor hallucis longus, the extensor digitorum longus, and the tibialis anterior.
Nice.
And then laterally, you got the peroneus longus and brevis.
Yes, or the fibularis longus and brevis. Really well done. Thank you, sir. Yes. Now I know your love is real. Cool. Mr. Bose, I forgot to call on you yesterday, so can you tell me the 11 muscles of the leg? Mr. Bose, answer me.
Yes, I was hiding, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so you want the 11 muscles of the leg.
Or the 12.
No.
Mr. Craven knocked it up a notch. He gave me a 12th one that, you could argue is the posterior leg too, up in the popliteal region, but yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks, Craven. Okay, so on the anterior side, you have your tibialis anterior.
Yeah.
Peroneus longus. Oh, well, no, that's lateral. That's one of it.
By the way, it is right next to the anterior tibialis, but it's truly lateral. It runs along the fibula. Yeah.
Okay. The extensor digitorum longus. There's the longest.
I gotta lift up my big toe.
Extensor hallucis longus.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Let's see. I don't know how many I just said. Tibialis anterior, peroneus longus and brevis, extensor digitorum longus, extensor hallucis longus. Then
You got all the anterior ones, yeah.
Okay, so then on the posterior side,
Sure.
your gastrocnemius, plantaris soleus.
Okay.
And then
underneath those?
You have a tibialis posterior. You can have an anterior, there's a posterior. Flexor, okay, so we're doing flexor now. So flexor digitorum longus, and then flexor hallucis longus, because we have to have one for the big toe as well.
Good.
Okay.
Did you
What am I missing?
I don't know. Did you say the tibialis one?
Yeah, the tibialis posterior and anterior.
Okay, you got the one behind the knee is called the popliteus.
Oh yeah, that one.
What are the two on the side?
Those are your peroneus longus brevis.
Yep, also known as your...
Fibularis longus and brevis.
Yeah, because they run by the fibula. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Mr. Snell.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Snell. What are your 5 hip adductor muscles?
The hip adductor muscles.
Found in the medial femoral compartment.
Okay, so the pectineus.
Yes.
You have your adductor longus, brevis, and magnus.
Yes.
And then your gracilis.
Cool. Which one of those is the shortest muscle?
The pectineus.
Yes! Thank you very much, sir, for paying attention. Which one is the longest one?
The gracilis.
Yes! Where does the gracilis insert?
The pes anseritis.
Yes! Along with what other 2 muscles?
Semitendinosus and sartorius.
Yes! Providing stability to the medial knee. Thank you, Mr. Snell. Have a very good day, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Mr. Mitruck. What are the 4 muscles that make up the quads found on the anterior and lateral compartment of the femur?
We have the rectus femoris. We have the vastus medialis. We have the vastus intermedialis and the vastus lateralis.
Beautifully said. Where do they all insert?
Into the patellar to the tibia tuberosity.
I'll take it. Beautiful. What are their... I mean, you have the right idea. What are their actions?
They will extend the knee.
Yes, they will extend the knee. Boom. Nice.
Rectus femoris will flex the hip.
Rectus femoris will extend the knee, but also flex the hip. Cool. If it'll flex the hip, what type of tilt could it cause in the pelvis?
Flex the hip. Okay. It can cause an anterior
Yes.
tilt or lateral.
No, anterior. I mean, I guess unilaterally, maybe, but anterior. My hip coming to my thigh is the same as my thigh coming to my hip. It's a hinge. Cool. Really well done.
So where would we get a lateral tilt then?
Oh, where would you get a lateral tilt, ma'am?
I think we should ask someone else.
No. Let's not. And we're not talking, by the way, let's be really clear. There's a lateral flexion of my spine. You're not talking about that. You're talking about a lateral tilt. Right? Which is also an elevation of your hip. I don't want to ask somebody else. You're brilliant. I want to ask you. I don't like these other people. I want to talk to you. What might do that? Let's think about stuff that might elevate the hip or pull one side down. There's several answers that would be good.
The tensor fasciolata.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, unilaterally maybe. What would happen? Let me ask you a couple questions. Let's see. What would happen if my interior internal and external obliques on the same side contracted? They could pull my vertebral column over here, but they could also elevate my hip. Yeah?
There.
Yeah. What's a real bugger that causes real true elevation of the hip is actually found in your thighs. And there's a muscle group in your thighs that if it's working unilaterally, just one muscle group, you got it on both sides of this muscle group, it can actually cause a lateral tilt, which is a real problem because it creates scoliosis in your back. Yeah. What muscle group do you think that might be? And by the way, before you answer, let's think. Stuff in front tends to cause flexions or anterior tilts. Stuff in back tends to cause posterior tilts and extensions. So we're not really looking in those areas.
So I'm going to have to go somewhere in the middle, like the iliopsoas?
Yeah, let's go really, really in the middle.
Like a deep six middle?
I love you. Like your hip adductors. I know your hip adductors pull your legs in, right? But if one side pulls my leg in and the other side doesn't, it actually elevates my hip. Yeah.
Right.
And so when you see somebody with elevated hips, yes, you'd look at abs and things like that. Believe it or not, though, you really want to look at their inner thighs and see if one side is tighter than the other. If it is, massage it. Yes, Ms. Zabalos, please. Good job, Ms. Dimitrik.
The adductor magnus, I believe, also causes posterior tilt. So
yes,
the adductors can cause lateral elevation. I guess elevation of the hip and posterior tilt.
Yeah, well, the adductor magnus can. You're right. Yeah.
Well, the magnus can.
And that's because the adductor magnus is so far back it acts like a hamstring. It can.
Yeah.
And thank you. You're pointing out the finer points. You're absolutely right. But they are very valid finer points. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe Miss Avalos, since we're talking already. Miss Avalos, what are the muscles that attach to the mastoid process of the temporal bone?
The SCM, the splenius capitis, and the longissimus.
Yes. What does SCM stand for?
And the digastric.
Yes.
Posterior belly of the digastric muscle.
Nicely said. Wow. What does SCM stand for?
Sternocleidomastoid.
Yeah, and it's nicknamed what?
The prayer muscle.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You're
Hey, Miss Carrillo. I don't want you to feel left out, ma'am.
Oh, I didn't feel left out at all.
Yes, you did. You're
did.
angry. You're hurt. You feel left out. Admit it. You're trying to hide it behind your mask. You're upset. Miss Carrillo, I just mentioned this yesterday, but I'm hoping you remember. Do you remember the two muscles that make up the stirrup of the foot because they attach to the same thing underneath?
The tibialis anterior and is it the fibularis longissimus?
Yeah, longus. Yeah. Fibularis longus or pronatus longus. Pronatus longus comes down the side of your leg. Tibialis anterior is right by it, but remember it crosses over your foot and they hook underneath. Which means one can cause an inversion and one can cause an eversion. Which one causes an inversion? Which one causes an eversion?
Tibialis anterior causes an inversion.
Yes, because it goes to the inside of your foot and pulls it in that way. Nicely said. And the other one?
And fibularis longus causes the eversion.
Yeah, that was really good. One, by the way, causes a plantar flexion and one causes a dorsiflexion, which is very tricky. Because... Go ahead.
I was going to guess the dorsiflexion is caused by the tibialis anterior?
Yes, because it goes over the top, pulls the foot up. Yes. The other one goes behind the lateral malleolus, so it actually pulls the foot down into a plantar flexion. Wow! Wow! Okay. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Rader, same question to you. What, because this is something we're adding on to our thing. What are the two muscles that make up the stirrup of the foot?
The fibularis longus and the tibialis anterior.
Good. And causes an inversion of the
The
foot?
tibialis anterior.
Yeah. Inversion is when soles of my feet kind of point together. I think I can do it like this. Like that. That's an inversion, everybody. Which one causes an eversion?
The fibularis longus.
Thank you. Which one causes a dorsiflexion?
Tibialis anterior.
Yeah, which one causes plantar flexion?
The fibularis longus.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Miss Clayton.
Yes.
Miss Clayton, what are the 5 abdominal muscles?
Rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, external obliques, internal obliques, and quadratus laborum.
Cool. Which ones could be responsible for a lateral flexion of the spine? Or an elevation of the hip on one side, but lateral flexion of the spine. Bending to one side.
The quadratus laborum, also known as the hip hiker.
Yes, unilaterally, just on that side.
Yep.
Are there any others that I should include in that list?
The external obliques.
On both sides?
No, just on one side.
Which side?
What's the tilt toward? Which side?
The left.
The left, then the opposite one, the right.
No, you're thinking about
No?
twisting. So for
twisting, yeah.
Yeah, twisting. I gotta think about this now. Twisting would be the same side too.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, then the same side.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to add to that list? Maybe like the
Internal?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said internal first, which means I just said something wrong a second ago. I thought she was talking about internal. But yes. Yeah, so let me back up because I'm
Internal and
probably
external and quadratus laborum?
all on the same side.
All on the same side.
If
okay.
I grab my belt with an internal here, and I grab my belt with an external here, and I pull, I'm going to pull myself over. Does that make sense? It will tomorrow.
No.
All right, well, it will tomorrow because we're going to tape off the body. Tomorrow, you and I.
Okay.
And you'll see it visually. Yeah. Just remember, muscles can only pull, so you want stuff on that side pulling. And yes, they go diagonal, but one's trying to pull me forward, one's trying to pull me back, so they end up just pulling me over.
Oh, okay.
If that
I'm
helps.
just going pull. Yes, that helps. I thought they were.
If I
both
grab
going
on here,
forward.
if I grab on something here, yes, I pull this way a little bit. And I grab on something here, yes, I pull this way. But what really happens is I end up pulling towards both of them, if that helps. Yeah. Good stuff, though.
Okay.
We'll take it. And we will tape off the body tomorrow, and then I'll be down in Washington Thursday. And it will be amazing.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Mr. Richards.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Richards, what are the muscles that attach to the medial border of the scapula?
It's a big, long list, right?
There's 43 muscles in total.
I know it's the rhomboids major, rhomboids minor, serratus anterior, and levator scapula.
Yes, good. Don't worry about the other 39.
I'm not thinking of the transverse process. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No, you did
transverse-
great. You did great, great. Which one of those muscles argues with the rhomboids?
I have got it written down somewhere.
You don't need it written down somewhere, sir. You can visualize it.
So it's the rhomboids and the serratus.
Rhomboids argue the serratus. Rhomboids are in back and they go up like a Christmas tree, so they retract and elevate me. Serratus are down here, they protract and depress me. What other muscle protracts and depresses my scapula that could argue with the rhomboids? That you did not list. Because you shouldn't have. It's not attached to the medial border. But
So is that the pec major? No.
does the
Yes,
pec major attach to the scapula?
You're asking me some funky questions, sir.
No, not. Does the pec
let me think about this.
does the pec major attach to the scapula?
No.
By the way, this will be on the test. Stuff like this. Just to let you guys know. I want to know if you know the difference between the pec major and pec minor.
So answer the question again. So do the question again.
Tell me another muscle besides the serratus anterior that protracts and depresses the serratus anterior, or abducts and depresses the serratus anterior. I'm sorry, the scapula.
So it's
It has the what?
Supraspinatus.
So the supraspinatus kind of attaches to the scapula and hooks to your ear and kind of lifts it up, or?
No, my mind's gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Shoot.
Levator scapula.
Levator scapula, so that goes from here to here, so that would elevate. I don't know how it's going to pull it forward. Maybe if I put my neck really far forward, it might pull it forward. I just wish there was a muscle like that attached to the scapula, was kind of in front, and kind of ran what?
Doing pec minor because you're doing that.
Oh, pec minor, yeah. Don't forget, everybody. I'm making fun of you, and I apologize. I'm just having fun. Pec major, everybody, is major, and it goes across and hooks to your arm. That's why people bench press, to make it bigger. Pec minor hooks to the coracoid process of your scapula and hooks it down to your chest and pulls it forward and down. So, the serratus anterior and the pec minor actually have the exact same actions, and they fight with the rhomboids. And I keep hammering this point because a lot of times when people have tight shoulders, you really need to rub in their pec minor and their serratus anterior. Cool. All right. Mr. Singletary. Mr. Singletary, I'll ask the question while you're walking. Okay, there you go. Mr. Singletary, what are the muscles that are found on the medial border of the scapula?
Okay, let me think. I just ran in from the bathroom, sorry.
That's
okay, the scapula, medial border. Okay, I know levator scapula is one of them.
Good.
Yes, it's the rhomboids. Hold on. Scapula. Okay, serratus anterior.
Good.
And think. Okay, medial border, scapula.
I mean, that's all I've got. But if you're about to say pectoralis, please don't do that.
That's all. No, oh, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna say it then.
So, sir, on the back side of the body, just so I know you know where they are, from inferior.
I know where they are. I'm trying to think of what's touching the scapula. That's where my head was thinking.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
No. That's right. Okay, never mind. Here's what I was thinking.
Good. So on the back side of the body, when you're behind somebody, and you're touching the medial border, running from inferior to superior, name those muscles on the medial border. You just told me muscles. I want to know that you know them in order, going up or going down. But we're gonna. So what's the first one I come to? As I
go from down to up or reverse.
Yeah, down to up. Let's go down to up.
Down to up. Okay, so we got the levator is at the top, coming down to the rhomboids, then coming down to serratus.
No, serratus is in front. It's not up or down. It's behind the rhomboids, kind of. So just tell me the order of rhomboids, minor and major, and levator scapula, from inferior to superior.
Levators from inferior.
Yep.
You want from to go from down to okay. There's levators at all the way at the top. Rhomboids at the top. So serratus anterior.
Quit saying serratus anterior. It's found in front. So what if when I'm rubbing the back of somebody's scapula from inferior to superior, what are the muscles I find there?
Okay.
What are the order of those three muscles?
Of the
rhomboid major, levator scapula, and rhomboid minor. Inferior to superior.
Rhomboids major, then rhomboids minor, then levator scapula.
Yes, very good job, sir. Really good job. Rhomboid major, minor always rides on the shoulder of the major, and levator scapula on top. Really good job. Serratus anterior is kind of behind those, running to the front. But that was really good. Sir, what two muscles argue with the rhomboids?
I believe it's. I'm thinking cap. It's the serratus anterior and the pectoralis, the major and the minor.
And the quads, the abs. Why'd you say major and minor, sir?
I thought that they fought with the rhomboids.
What's the origin insertion of the pec minor? What's the origin insertion of the pec major? Major.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, definitely the serratus anterior. I know that
Yes.
one.
By the way, excellent answer. You're absolutely right. It literally
Yeah.
kisses the rhomboids and attaches on the medial border. It just goes in front. The rhomboids are in back, and they literally fight for your scapula. There's no doubt about that. Serratus anterior is an excellent answer. One of the pecs is an excellent answer too, but you need a pec that attaches to the scapula. Which pec attaches to the scapula? Because they both don't.
I believe it's the pec minor.
That's right. The pec minor attaches to this little bone here that hopefully you guys are not massaging because it drives people nuts. It feels like an eraser. And it attaches, pec minor attaches to what ribs, sir?
Hold on.
If there only there was a way to memorize this. Only I give you a hand signal.
But, well, I'm not even looking at your picture. I'm feeling my chest.
Oh, yeah, well, that's going to be hard because you got to go through the pec major to feel it. If only I'd done like hand signals or something in class.
Third, fourth rib.
Third and fourth?
Rib.
Third and fourth?
Fourth and fifth.
And fifth!
Yes.
Can you see me, sir?
Yes, I can now. I wasn't looking at the picture.
This is the size of the pec minor. This lets you know it's got 3 strands. This lets you know it attaches to the third rib, then the fourth and the fifth. Yep. And it yes. And so you're right. That one along with the serratus anterior. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you.
And those are the true ribs, correct?
They are true ribs. That's true. Yeah. That's true. They are some of the true ribs, not all of them. Yeah. Cool. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, please tell me the muscles that attach to the medial border of the scapula.
Rhomboid major and minor and levator scapula.
Good. Which one is most superior?
Superior levator scapula.
Which one is most inferior?
Rhomboid major.
Nicely done. What muscles argue with the rhomboids major and minor?
Serratus anterior and the pec minor.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm hammering these ideas. You guys should know this stuff by now. You should know it. Mr. Godot.
Yes.
What are the muscles that attach to the medial border of the scapula?
The serratus anterior.
Yes, sir.
Levator scapula.
Yes.
Rhomboids.
Major and
I
minor.
said boys. Yeah, okay.
That was good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, so those 4 muscles do. What muscles argue with, do the opposite action of the rhomboids, major and minor?
Alright, I was kind of confused. There's a lot of conversation about pecs, so are they involved?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay. Okay. So, is it the minor, the pectoralis minor?
Yes, pectoralis minor argues with the rhomboids. Very good. And what's the other muscle?
The major?
Major doesn't attach to the scapula.
Okay, so it's the minor and
a saw-like muscle that goes from the medial border of the scapula.
oh, the serratus anterior.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna
Done with
release.
you?
That's it. That's it.
All right.
I'm gonna release homework. If you guys are finding these questions hard, you will find the test at the end of the year very hard. But you will not be surprised by it. Just anybody, like, none of the questions will be things I have not asked 100 times. So you've got 3 homework assignments. I don't think they're that long. Let's see. Let me make sure. We got Yes, 3 homework assignments. 2 videos and a test on the forum and hand landmarks. But anyway, three little assignments. Hold on one second. You all can't see them yet, but you will be able to in a second. I think you've got time to finish all these. I mean, don't feel bad if you can't, but I just meant I think. And what this is getting ready for you is for us to discuss actual forum muscles tomorrow, which are kind of cool. Cool. All right. I'm going to silence myself, so